Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Antimatter Games podcast. I am your host, Christian Garris, and with me, as always, Matthew Blake
Hello.
and Samantha Jennings.
Hi.
Anyone want
Nice
chairs?
to see everybody. We've been away for a couple of weeks. Sam moved, and she got some crappy internet, and she got a new gaming PC. So, like a little tiny hiatus, I guess. But we're back, and we're going to talk about the first things today, Sam's experience with getting her first gaming PC. Because that's cool, and not everyone gets into the PC gaming market because it's pretty expensive. So Sam, how do you feel, man? You like your PC?
Yeah, now that it's working. I mean, technically this is my second one. The first one didn't work.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You got the dud.
That's a bummer. What a bummer.
You know what though? I felt really good though knowing that the actual computer was dead and it wasn't me who couldn't figure out how to plug in two cables.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But yeah, now that everything's set up, I absolutely love it. It's so cozy. It's so much different than playing on a console. Weird getting used to the keys and the mouse. I've always just taken for granted the reflexes and knowing where the buttons are on a PlayStation controller. So there's a lot of having to stop and think about where I'm going and where the keys are. But other than that, downloading Steam and just seeing the amount of games and the amount of things on there that you can do was a little bit overwhelming at first. I downloaded Sea of Thieves and looked through the store and didn't know what else to do, so I got Naruto as well. So I'm gonna play some Naruto tomorrow. But yeah, it's been really cool. Picking out the monitor and stuff as well was interesting. Just the amount of customization. It's going from an Apple phone to an Android, actually being able to change things instead of just going in and buying your phone and you're like, here's your phone, this is what it does, that's it, you take it and go. Knowing that once I learn all these little pieces that I can switch them out and change things is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I like your keyboard.
It's been fun. Thank you. I can probably show y'all. Yeah.
That is the HyperX
So
Alloy.
many colors.
HyperX Alloy Origins, kind of like this one, but with different colors. Because I customized mine. Yeah, we have the same keyboard.
Everyone has rainbow keyboards.
No, we actually have the exact same keyboard.
Yes, I'm aware. So Sam, how are the vibes different between console and PC for you so far, other than the mouse and the keyboard, obviously?
I don't know if it's the general just setup as well that I put it in a different room. It's much more of an intimate gaming experience. I have a little command center. So last night I had a cup of tea and I was wrapped in a blanket and I was just sitting in my chair, which is super, super cozy. And I was just chilling and played Sea of Thieves for another 2 hours last night versus the console has always been in the living room or somewhere that's very central. So there's always other people around, other things going on. It's always been kind of hard to get immersed in a game. Whereas the combination of the headset and a nice big curved monitor and everything just being in nice and tight, it's a lot more intimate and I really like it. You lose track of time much faster.
Yeah, it's really important having your own gaming space for sure, whether it's console or PC. Having a little, your own little nook where it's just you and video games and no distractions.
Even if that nook happens to be a storage area with chairs.
With lots of chairs, featured chairs.
Oh, behind this couch, there's still unpacked boxes, and over here, there's boxes. But even when I'd be playing in the living room, my dog would be going crazy all the time. He just sleeps on the floor. He just sat right here last night with his head down and just watched the computer for 3 hours. And even he's chilled out.
It's great. That works out great because you're tucked into your desk in your little chair that he just can't get to you in. So
yep.
Whereas he can just jump on you on the couch, right?
Yep. It's great. I love it. I'm excited to see. People have been asking what games I've been playing, and I'm literally just Sea of Thieves. I'm I don't even know where to start next after this. I will try Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I was gonna be I have I have a suggestion.
I will try it. But But yeah, it's nice to have that option as well. Like I've always just been stuck with the PlayStation, so anything that's not on PlayStation, it's like, guess I'm just never gonna play that game. So now that there's a lot of crossplay and a lot of different things, I can try all these games that I've like missed out on, or ones that I wouldn't have been able to play.
Yeah, one bonus for sure of having like a functioning new PC is being able to use all the Game Pass stuff and access all the Microsoft catalog, which is really great. That's a big incentive of having one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For me, having a PC has always just kind of been like a mainstay of my life. Like the first video games I played were on computer, and I've just always had a dedicated computer for games. I didn't build my own computer until I was like 18. With shiny lights and all that kind of stuff. I used my parents before that. But yeah, there's just something I don't know what about sitting at your PC and like just feeling good vibes. Like I have so many memories of just being tucked in there with my drink and like a little game that you can lose yourself in. It's not quite the same feeling as console, for whatever reason, but it's just not for everybody. And it doesn't help that it's so expensive. Like, how much money did you spend to get your PC set up?
Once everything's said and done, and I'll include the chair in that as well because it's a very important part. Just under like 3,000.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. That's bananas. You don't need a computer. I think you just all of a sudden you want one. I think if you're not like already super into PC gaming, like me and Matt's friend Fro, I don't think he was ever really a PC gamer, and then just one day he was like, "Hey guys, I want a gaming PC."
Yeah.
And like now that's all he
That
plays
was a great
games
day.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a big decision.
I've always had video games as like a solo experience for the most part.
Yeah.
So like the thought of spending $3,000 on something that I was just going to play by myself was never an incentive. I'm just like, well, if I'm just gonna sit and play by myself, I'll just play on PlayStation. But the fact that like we've been playing so much and like there is actually that option to do things with people, then sure, I 100% like buy it, no problem.
And down the line, like if you need to upgrade years from now, it won't cost as much because you'll still have a lot of those things, right? Like if you need a little bit graphics boost, you go out and you buy a graphics card, which are becoming more and more expensive, but you don't have to buy the whole thing again. You can buy parts and like upgrade in smaller increments.
I'd much rather switch out like a part every year or so than, over my life, I've probably spent $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on games and different consoles. Like I've owned probably 10 different consoles between PlayStation, Sega, Nintendo's, like whatever it is. So I'd rather buy something that's going to last longer.
And at the risk of turning into a literal meme, the sales like on Steam and other platforms now, when there's like 90% off, you don't see a 90% off like retail game for a console unless they have like a crate full of them and they just have to get rid of them. They put them in a bin with a sticker.
Yeah, for sure you get that more on PC, but the 90% offs are generally less quality of games, and I do have to say, being a PlayStation player as well, that they're getting really good. Like PS Plus is getting really good with discounting their games. Like they've had huge sales all summer, and that's probably because people are staying home and they know that. But like you can get their older exclusives, like God of War, you can buy for like $25 right now. That's a great deal, and like lots of other games like that. Anything else to add, Sam?
One thing I really like that I didn't think was going to be a thing, I like the concept of like the Steam library. That's just really cool. Like I've always had my games in like I'd always buy hard copy because I like having them all, and I like being able to say like, this is my PS3 and like these are my games that I play on this console. And it's been weird with like PS4 starting to buy things digitally. Like I don't really have a spot where I can be like, this is my collection, take a look. So I really like having that, and being able to see like how many hours I've played a game, and it's just cool little stats that I'm like, fuck, I wish I had this for all of the games I've played. but it's really cool, and I'm excited to play more.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Steam is like, I don't know if it's just nostalgia for me, but it's just good vibes. It's tied in with a lot of like really good gaming memories of playing Counter-Strike and Day of Defeat and Half-Life and all those things that are tied to Steam growing up. So it's like Steam just kind of means gaming to me.
Oh, and wait till Sam gets a moddable game with Steam Workshop support.
Yeah, true. That too.
Yeah, that's just right in the tab for the game, and you can just browse like user-made like reskins or like mods or whatever, and you just like click, and Steam installs them in the game for you. So
the memes are all starting to make sense.
Yeah.
So if you want, Thomas the Tank Engine to chase you in Resident Evil 2 instead of Mr. X, you can make that happen.
Actually, you know what?
Yes.
This is probably not the greatest time to bring this up, but we should all just play some Left 4 Dead 2. That's probably dirt cheap. Let's shoot some zombies. Yeah. And there's so many mods.
I'd love to have a night where we just stream Left 4 Dead, Day of Defeat, CS Source, like just for fun, and play all the old ones.
Yeah.
And Sam's never played any of those, so.
But like the mods for, I used to have the original Star Trek battle music for the tank.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Amazing.
There's
all right. Moving on, we're going to play a little game called What Genre Am I? So I have a list of popular movies and shows, and we're just going to go through them and try to figure out what video game genre they'd be best suited to. Or at least what we individually think, because I'm sure it's going to be hard to come to an agreement on a lot of these. So the first one I got is a cult hit, The Fifth Element. What genre would you like to see the Fifth Element game made in?
Ooh.
Right? Personally, I would like to see an RPG in the vein of like Cyberpunk or Skyrim, like a first-person RPG.
With like open world elements?
Yes.
Yeah, I would get very big like Mass Effect vibes from something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind went, but for the sake, it could also work as kind of like a point and click adventure or like Telltale game kind of thing. Like if you just got a really good story and just had you like fumbling around, doing stuff and like, a little more linear, but I think that could also work.
I think those would both be awesome.
Yeah.
Next, we were talking about this the other day, Lord of the Rings.
Well, I'll say what I said the other day. It would either have to be like a Dragon Age style, like Dragon Age Origins, I should specify.
That's the first one, right?
Yeah, that's the first one, and it was like the most kind of like D&D-ish of all of them. It's
I love the first one.
Yeah, that or obviously an RTS, which has been done successfully a few times. But my logic between the two of them is like you need to be able to get all the little like factions and races and all the like lore, and you have to kind of represent it all because it's the best. Like if you want dwarves doing dwarf things and elves doing elf things, and whether those are like party members or armies, you gotta get that broadness represented in the game.
Sam, how do you want your Lord of the Rings game?
Yeah, like we were talking about the other day, something like a Ghost of Tsushima world would be amazing. Where I don't know who you would be as a main character. I don't know what time or like what age it would be in. It would be cool to maybe go back and do like some Silmarillion stuff, like have some really, really old things to go over. And if you wanted to dive more into the different factions, like I would be cool with some DLC that's like strictly like elf DLC, where you would go into like elf DLC. It'd be the best.
Does it come with pointy ears?
Yes, and you have to wear them when you play it. Where you could really kind of dive more into those races, and it's like maybe you play as an elf character in that world, and you have your own kind of adventures you go on, and then there's another one for the dwarfs, and you could kind of go through some of like the older stories, but very like similar like Ghost of Tsushima vibes, open world, with somewhat of like a loose plot with tons of side missions. But I think it'd be really cool combat wise to be able to experience that, because like I don't want like a point and click with Lord of the Rings. Like if I have a sword, I want to stab things myself.
Yeah, for me, I think if I had to like wish on a genie's lamp, I would wish exactly for the ghost style combat, because I think that's probably the best sword play has felt for me in a video game. Like better than even Sekiro, because it's not as demanding, so you can have more fun with it and you can really live that power fantasy, you know? And if you want to, at least at Ghost, you can turn the difficulty way up and dudes can one-shot you too. So it's completely how you want to play. But that style of combat, because that's what Lord of the Rings is all about, right? Is swinging a sword or shooting a bow or using some magics. And then at the same time, like a Last of Us caliber narrative, dealing with some stuff we haven't seen a lot in film or TV, which is Second Age stuff. So like maybe seeing Morgoth fight the High Elves or the Fall of Numenor, like, you know, those things that are in the books, but they haven't really been put on the screen a lot. That's what I would want to see. I think that'd be really cool. Next up, Gladiator.
Ooh.
The Russell Crowe film.
You know what?
Are you not entertained?
VR.
Ooh, VR.
Ooh.
I like this direction.
I think a VR brawler, essentially. Like, you're just going to be...
just in the arena?
Basically, I mean, you could do some side stuff, but I feel like, you know, most of that movie did take place in an arena.
Yeah.
And the parts that didn't, I don't know how well they would, like, lend themselves. Like, I feel like if you put in, like, say, the beginning part, people would just want more of that. They'd be like, get me out of this arena. I want to start crushing people in forests again. And, and you could make that game, but it wouldn't really be Gladiator. And same with the Gladiator Revolt part. So I feel like, no, just a good VR game where you're just in there with weapons, fighting stuff.
I like that, because every time I go back and watch Gladiator, which like is a lot, I forget how much talking is in between. Like, in my head, this movie is just straight gladiator fights the entire time. And I forget that there's like 45 minutes of dialogue in between each one. So I wouldn't want that in the game.
And it's the waves of grain.
It's amazing.
Really good movie. Yep. Fighting around the world. Next, I agree with you, Matt. I have nothing else to add to that. Next up, Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh.
Do we want to just go FPS for that, or it's been done?
Well, I mean, that has all but, like, Saving Private Ryan / Band of Brothers, I guess more Band of Brothers, has all but been done back in the Xbox PS2 days with Brothers in Arms.
Medal of Honor?
Yeah, but I really liked Brothers in Arms, specifically, the one that kind of introduced a tactical layer where you had to, like, tell your dudes to, like, pin down stuff and then flank it. And,
yeah, so
the time
first
to kill
person
was super short.
vantage point, but also strategy based.
Yeah, actually, no, now that you bring it up, since there have been so many World War II shooters, Saving Private Ryan... Okay, this wouldn't sell very well.
You could do RTS as well.
I was going to think, like, actually more of, like, a tactical, maybe, like, turn-based, like, almost an XCOM kind of game, but, like, set in World War II, where you, like, you know, you get to pause and be like, this person's pinned down here around this corner, these are the sight lines, this person can move here and get a shot on that, and, you know, you take your time with it. With, and let's throw in permadeath for your characters like XCOM. So if you fuck up early in the game, you have fewer people to work with at the end.
Cool, I like it. The Expanse.
Oh, fuck. That could be a lot of things.
I would love to see... I know there's lots of great politics and there's lots of great, like, character stuff in The Expanse. I would love to see, like, a hard space battle, like, sim.
Like
you have control of the Rocinante, and, like, you're doing battle with another ship or a fleet of ships, and just, like, controlling your ship.
That would be pretty cool. It would be really tough in real time, considering that they're always firing guns off all sides of that ship in all these different directions.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to figure it out.
It could be cool with a team game. Do it in real time, but make it a team game so you actually had people working different things. I mean, they don't show it so much in the show, but in the books, it's, like, clear that though you can take manual control, a lot of, like, the PDCs, like those minigun type weapons, are completely computer controlled. Like they're trying to shoot down multiple torpedoes in space at a bunch of different angles. Like one person, they're a 4-person crew, right? There's no way they're doing that themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think everything. It could be a great like VR game, like Star Trek Bridge Crew or Bridge Commander or whatever it was called. It could be a great point-and-click adventure with like a little story, maybe like a kind of a Miller angle thing. You could even, if you really wanted to, make some kind of FPS game about it, because like there's boarding, there's a lot of boarding.
Yeah.
Someone make a good Expanse game. I'll play whatever genre it is.
Second last on the list, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Kind of a childlike Roblox kind of.
Make it like Bugsnax.
Yes, but it's like people.
I feel like
Talking about
no,
Bugsnax.
that it almost need to be like a telltale. This is just how I'm picturing it, like a Telltale game, but one of those like anime
I mean,
sex games.
you gotta go third person ARPG, right?
I mean, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to stake some vampires.
Oh, you're staking the vampire.
Yeah.
I
You're
thought
not
you-
playing as Dracula. You're playing as one of the people.
talking about.
Oh, I
Bugsnax.
thought you'd be playing as Dracula.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
have
there'll be a
Bugsnax.
romance option for Sam.
I would want to play as Dracula and romance and eat as many people as I could.
What if it's a multiplayer game where one side is the vampire and the other side is, the humans? Van Helsing and such.
That'd be cool.
They kind of tried that as a terrible Legacy of Kain spin-off.
I was
it
thinking
wasn't
about
terrible.
Legacy of
It's kinda
Kain when
fun.
I wrote this down.
Well, yeah, like the last gasping, flailing thing for that franchise was Nosgoth, which was a 4v4 vampire hunters versus vampire game.
I remember hearing about it. They used to
Honestly-
make jokes about it all the time on Mandatory Update.
It was kind of fun. Like, to be honest, it was really poorly balanced and didn't have a large enough player base. You'd have to wait 10 minutes for a match, and then you'd just get stomped by the people who actually played it all the time. But the first few weeks, when no one knew what they were doing, pretty damn fun. Pretty damn fun. And you got a great sense of power just climbing walls as vampires. Because they would just, like, dig their hands and feet into the wall and then, like, push off and leap up and then dig again. And, like, the whole screen would shake each time. You'd have this great, like, thunk sound as they're, like, climbing up. You'd have
That's
this...
like
want
in
that.
Gargoyles.
I want that vampire power fantasy.
They actually looked like gargoyles, too. Because Soul Reaver vampires get, like, very not human as they evolve. So they had,
I
like,
tried
plates
hooking
and
up the
stuff.
Sega Genesis the other day so I could play it, and I can't get it working.
Oh, no.
They took your Sega Genesis.
There's nothing wrong with the console. It's the connection to the TVs. It doesn't connect well to smart TVs.
You can probably buy an adapter for that.
Hey, you know what?
Last game,
Emulators.
Tron.
You got a PC now.
Oh, on PC, yeah.
You can get like every Sega Genesis game, but I can't go into that now.
Tron. Last game is Tron.
Tron? They already made a
Tron.
perfectly fine game for that.
There's a
You can
Tron game?
Yeah. You control the little bikes and you try and cut off the other person. They did it in like the 80s.
There's also a Tron level in Kingdom Hearts where you race around on your little bike. It's already
Do
done.
you get Jeff Bridges as a side character?
So if you weren't going to make a shitty Tron game, what would your Tron game be?
I mean,
Kingdom Hearts. Get out of here with that.
I feel
Kingdom
like
Hearts 1 is the best.
I feel like VR. Like it kind of has to be VR, right?
VR would be super cool. Yeah, being in that like world, all the light and stuff
Yeah.
in first person in VR. I think that's how I'd want it too. That'd be badass.
That or a dating sim. One or the other.
Or Dracula's DLC.
Everything's dating sim for Sam.
No, I'm gonna go with
Alright,
VR.
let's talk about some games we've been playing. So first on the list we got Fall Guys. We've all played Fall Guys.
We did.
Fall Guys kind of came out of nowhere and then just became a phenomenon like overnight.
Mhm.
You know, I had never heard about Fall Guys, and then the next morning everyone was playing Fall Guys.
Yeah.
I actually
That's
did
it.
hear about Fall Guys, but like I didn't really hear about it so much as I kept seeing stuff for Fall Guys. They had a pretty aggressive ad campaign in the run-up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was like, what's this? It looks like Gang Beasts. Though somehow I did not notice the whole Battle Royale thing until like just before I played it, when I actually looked into it. And I'm like, oh, so there's like a lot of people.
So the reason why I picked it up is because it was free this month on PS Plus. So I mean, you know, give me a free game, I'll download it, whatever. And everybody was talking about it, and it's actually pretty fun. I played it a couple times with my daughter since we played it on stream. And I've watched some other people stream it, like Easy Allies. It's a lot more fun to watch when you have like a big group of people.
Mm-hmm.
But when we did play it, I had fun. It's a cool game. It's like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge with little goober people.
Yep.
Little jelly beans.
Little goober.
Yeah.
It is definitely a cute game. I've gone back and played it like once or twice. My only issues with it were like I've been having a bunch of connection issues, and I don't know if it's on my end or just like the game, because I was having that at my old condo as well.
Yeah.
Where I would just keep getting like dropped out of the game. So it's like I'd play for maybe an hour and only get like 20% of my experience points that I was supposed to. So I was having a really hard time like leveling up.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the game itself is very fun.
From what
Yeah,
I've seen,
it's
they've been having a lot of connectivity issues. Like I see their updates on Twitter all the time because other people like them. I don't follow Fall Guys, so it looks like that's what's happening for everybody. I did log in 2 days ago. The last time I logged in, I had like 3,000 of the whatever the currency is, and this time I had 10,300. So something happened there where I was like given points maybe that were owed to me. That
or maybe
weren't,
they're like, here, have some points.
Yeah, hey, thanks
Don't
for
hate
playing,
us.
basically. So if you're looking for something like easy breezy to play, check Fall Guys out. It's fun, it's quick, it's got like that Fortnite vibe where you can just jump in, play a 10-minute game, and then you're out. You know, if you just need a quick fix. Not every game needs to be Sea of Thieves where you have to sit down for 2 hours to enjoy the game and actually play it.
Funny thing about Fall Guys that it turned out is like it kind of famously got launch day review bombed, but then also got counter review bombed. So now it has a pretty good review. It was on Steam that this happened, but it just occurred to me like, how many legit reviews are there? Like it got beaten down, just review bombed and then counter bombed. So like now it says it's good, but I don't think anyone honestly reviewed the game.
You know what? Does it matter what the reviews are if millions of people are playing it? You know,
not really, and especially not for a game like that where you could probably give an accurate description of it in like 5 sentences if you really tried.
Yeah.
It's not a super nuanced game. You don't have to get into the motivations and the characterizations and all that. It's like, no, you run and try not to be last.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I will say that I did notice last time I played, which is super shitty, is griefers are all over the place in that game now. So what was happening when I was playing with Emma is that people would wait by the finish line instead of finishing just to grab you, to fuck with you so you couldn't cross the finish line. Or like they'd wait at platforms where you have to do a jump and they'd grab you while you jump. So you'd miss the jump and fall in the hole and have to start back at the checkpoint. And that was happening in like every game I was playing. There's just people standing around.
I'm sure that was very frustrating. But it was
hilarious, but it's like, okay, that's obviously what this game is going to turn into, is a BM fest.
Well, yeah, all they have to do is add like a shove button or something, you know, something where if you're just standing there, there, or like a ram mechanic. So if someone's standing there and you're like, oh, they're gonna grief me, you can just run straight into them and try and knock them down with your speed.
That's a super good idea, actually.
Yeah,
but people will find a way to abuse that for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
It could have been people trying to get the trophy for hugging.
I don't think so.
I see a dog belly.
If someone grabs
the finish
you,
line, Sam.
Yeah, if you grab
finish line
and you grab them back and you hold them for 10 seconds, you get a trophy for like hugging your buddy.
That's not. No.
I see a dog belly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's sleeping.
So the next game that I've been playing is I pre-ordered Tony Hawk Remaster, so I got the warehouse demo, which is awesome. It's the same demo from like 1999 or whenever the game came out. The one I was playing in high school at Future Shop that I used to skip class to go and play. That's what I've been playing in 4K. You have a 2-minute timer, and then you have to refresh and start over, and your points reset and everything. But I was a little rusty at first, but it's a blast, and you totally get everything back really quick if you were like a big Tony Hawk fan back in the day.
Is there any music?
It's all the old licensed music. So
Like
you
in
drop
the
in
demo.
with Tony Hawk there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's music in the demo. So you drop in with Tony Hawk, and Superman by Goldfinger starts playing right away.
Awesome.
So it's like immediately brought back to being a teenager. The only complaint I really have about the demo is that they added some new music, unfortunately. Like, I'm pretty sure there was an Imagine Dragons song, and it's like, I hate the Imagine Dragons. To me, they shouldn't have done that. It's
Hey,
a
what platform
remaster.
is it on PC-wise? Is it Origin?
I have no idea. Is it on PC or is it just on console?
I imagine it's coming to PC.
I do not know. I do not know. But yeah, that would be the only downside, really. If I'm gonna play a remaster or something, put the original music in, and that's really all I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sully my memory. Another little thing I noticed that they added in that was really cool is that you had a list of special moves if you went to the options menu. And in the original Tony Hawk games, the special moves would be assigned a button prompt, but you didn't get to do it. Now I can pick the move I want to do, and then pick whatever button combo I want to assign to it. So it's a lot easier to remember that way. So if I want to make like a 900 down left circle, I just put that in, and then it's down left circle forever, or I can change it whenever I want. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's on Epic.
Did you sleuth it, Matt? Oh,
Yes.
okay, it's on Epic.
Am I gonna have to give Epic money? 'Cause I really
Yeah, I
wanna
think
play
so.
it.
So that comes out in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to it because it seems really promising, and it looks beautiful in 4K. I will say before we go to the next game that it really hammered home how bad I want another skate game, how bad I want a skateboarding sim game, because this is just not
it's
that.
great. It's super arcadey.
Yeah, it's super arcadey, and there isn't anything else like Skate out right now except for maybe Skater XL, and it's really clunky and shitty looking.
I can't wait to grind off of moving taxis in traffic.
Next up is Fast and the Furious. Holy shit. Fast and the Furious. So like this is the kind of game that was kind of left in the PS2 era. Like a licensed, really cheeseball game. And I don't know if the developers were trying to go for that, or they just phoned it in so hard that that's just what it became.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, was it on purpose?
I don't know.
But I was... So I watched several hours of this game. It's only like a 5 or 6 hour game in general. And the gameplay looks horrible. The story is really bad. And it's some of the worst VO I've ever heard in a video game. And this is from professional actors. Like, we're talking about Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez, who aren't exactly like A-list actors, but they are professional actors. The woman that plays Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery, who is great in Star Trek Discovery. But my God, I don't know if it's because they didn't pay her enough or they just wanted to get it done really quick on like a low budget. But oof, it's bad. And I think that's why this game is getting streamed so much, because it's so bad, it's hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
Matt, you
I'm gonna have
watched
to
some
watch
of it.
this.
Yeah,
What
I
did you
watched
think?
some of the stream, and the funny thing is, like, I heard going in that the voice acting was terrible. And it's almost like, okay, and hold on, we can't just say the person from Discovery. Something Martin Green. Sometimes my Star Trek brain takes over. Sonequa Martin G. Come on, Green. Yeah, okay. So, anyways, it's almost as if she was figuring out how bad the game was as it went along. because I heard her voice acting was not great. And in the beginning, she's driving with her like business partner, her non-binary business partner, always referred to as they, to pick up a.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
To pick up some stuff, some car, fix a car, whatever. And I was like, you know what? There's some good inflection in this. Like, her business partner, deadpan. Just, like, reading it off the page, nothing. And I thought, like, she was trying to bring some life into that conversation, talking about food and stuff. And then, like, as the plot gets going, it's almost like she was just, like, you know, reading the script a few minutes before recording, and, like, it hits this point where she's just like, and then that happens? And, like, the quality just... like, it's like she tried at the beginning, and then at one point when it was just like, oh, we lost the race, and now we gotta do this, and now we gotta do this. Why are we doing this? Oh, this person from the movie suddenly showed up. And it's just like, yeah, you do have to watch it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch it.
If Mystery Science Theater ever did a game, they would do this.
Like, do you think there's anything to be said for, like, these people are not voice actors? Like, do you think they're just not used to doing, like, video game voice acting? Like,
with Michelle Rodriguez, yes. That was the first thing I thought. Because I just realized, you know what? She always is kind of monotone, isn't she?
right.
But she, like, does these faces, and she, like, you know, she kind of is, like, physical, you know? And she can't do that with a video game. So her voice acting is really...
Bad. It's bad. Vin Diesel's this too, though. There's no excuse for Vin Diesel. The guy has a D&D show on YouTube he does, like, every week with millions of viewers. Like, he should know how to deliver a line.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And you know what? Escape from Butcher Bay was still a fantastic game.
Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yeah, the Riddick game he made back in the Xbox days was
Riddick.
awesome. It was
it
an
on
awesome
Steam?
game. It is, actually, the remaster. And the sequel, which was less awesome.
Yeah, so to give an example of the gameplay, one of the first missions is you have to go with Michael Burnham's character, whatever her name is, and her buddy. So your car has like a life meter, a health meter. And what Kyle does to get there is he smashes into every car oncoming the entire way. That's okay somehow, and it doesn't... It barely budges the life meter of the car at the same time. And the physics are horrible while this is happening. Yeah. The cars are just bouncing around.
I like when he cracks the entire bus.
What, sorry?
He has a head-on collision with like a bus.
Oh, yeah.
And like the damage model is it just sort of like put cracks like you would see in a windshield and that kind of catch the light on the entire bus. He just cracks the entire bus.
It looks like a PS3 game.
That's generous.
Okay,
like...
Matt, you've been playing some Total War Troy, which was free and picked up by millions of people.
Yeah, 7.5 million. And what's interesting about that is apparently Epic paid a whole bunch for the year exclusivity and then will pay Creative Assembly per copy. Now, it's unknown if that's full price, almost certainly not. But Creative Assembly does get a little bit of money from Epic for each copy. So they made bank. Yeah, it's a very interesting take on Total War because it's not... So this is the second of the Total War sagas, which, you know, Total War games usually span... Well, the historical ones, which they all are except for Warhammer, span like hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And so like each turn is like a season. This one, it's a much smaller time frame, and it's also like a little more fantastic. You know, it's not full Iliad, you know, but it's close. Like you can get Cyclopses. But Cyclopses are actually just really, really big dudes wearing a skull, like, on their head that has, like, a break between where the two eyes would be. So they have, like, one giant... It's basically a bone helmet with one big opening and a giant club.
So they're like Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat 2, the movie, not like Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat, won the movie.
Yes.
In the second one, he's just a guy wearing a mask, and in the first one, he's an actual demon.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just a guy.
Spoilers.
Apparently, there's a few options for what the Trojan horse can be. It's not something that you do. You just roll up in the middle of the war and go, "Here's a gift." It totally doesn't have an army inside. So it can be like a giant siege tower, like to climb over the walls.
Okay.
You can offer to the gods, but they're not like the gods aren't coming down and casting spells and stuff. But you can make offerings or build little temples to like individual gods, and like it makes kind of a logical. The bonuses kind of make sense. Like obviously, I started with Ares. That seems to be the god you want if you're going to war, and it just like having the favor of Ares just gives your troops a morale bonus, which, you know, if your troops think that the god of war has their back, they're probably going to fight a little harder and, you know, not give up as easily.
So there's no supernatural element in this?
No supernatural at all, but like little things from the Iliad kind of reinterpreted to be not supernatural.
Okay, got it. Like the Cyclops thing.
Yeah, like that. And there's minotaurs. Those are just dudes with bull skulls on their heads.
Okay.
You know.
I wonder why they chose to go that way.
They're trying to like examine the Iliad through a historical sort of frame, but not go too hard into it and take all the kind of majesty away from it.
Instead of mythological.
Yeah, and like the resource system is also very different. You have 5 resources. In every other Total War game, you have 1. It's gold. You know, like this is over hundreds of years. You're not micromanaging how much like lumber and bronze and stone and food you have, but in this you do, and that makes like the trading a little more interesting. And also like incentivizes like there are some people who are pretty nice to me, but they have a shitload of bronze and I don't, so I'm gonna fuck them up and take it. And that's just what has to happen for the war effort. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's got some great, if you like go low enough on the world map and pan around, it has that kind of like orange, shades of orange and black with like clouds, like the stuff you see on Greek pottery. Like the areas you haven't explored are kind of in that style, and then as you explore them, they become a little more photorealistic on the overmap. It's got a lot of style. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's short. It's a little like it probably doesn't have the depth of other Total War games, but at this point I haven't hit that bottom. Okay. So I'm having a blast with it.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and slingers are just a hilarious ranged unit. Just dudes just hucking rocks. It never gets old.
All right. Before we move on to the news, I didn't have this in the rundown actually, but Sam, you just started playing Sea of Thieves and you seem pretty hooked on it. I know we talk about Sea of Thieves a lot on this podcast because we all play it and we love it for the most part. But Sam just got into it and she's been, you know, staying on after dark by herself and stuff, finding treasure. So what about Sea of Thieves grabbed you so much?
That's a good question. It's I like the openness of the world. No, I haven't been fishing. I've done no fishing. I like the openness. I usually don't get games that I don't want to say don't have a point, but like that just let you do whatever you want. Because I find like I never have time. So when I sit down to play, I'm like, okay, I have an hour. I need to accomplish like this. This is like the first game in a long time that I actually like relax playing. Except for when the Megalodon sunk my ship, and the Kraken, and the ghost ships, and all the other things that keep sinking my damn ship. But it's relaxing. I find because it doesn't have like an end point to get to, I'm not in a rush to get there. So like if I'm just out and about sailing around and I find a bottle that has a little mission in it, like sure, why don't I go over there and go do that? I don't have anything else I need to be doing right now. So it's just it's really easy to relax to. Yeah, and just the world is great. Like it looks beautiful. So it's the first game that I've played on a nice monitor, as opposed to my TV that is 8 years old and I think is like 20 pixels on it, I think. So like it looks great. It's just fun. It's just fun chilling out and not being able to fast travel anywhere. Like if you actually have to like go to an island and you're like, fuck, that's far. I'm gonna be sitting here. So there were a couple times where like the island I had to get to would be about a 5-minute sail in one direction, and I would just like set the ship and I would just sit back and have my tea and watch it go. And
Prime fishing time.
no more fishing. But yeah, it's super chill. So it's very, very relaxing. And I didn't think I was going to be as into it as I am. But I mean, I bought a cat last night and an outfit for him. So
Which cat did you get?
I got the fat like ragamuffin one.
Oh my god, excellent.
Yeah,
nice.
I almost got that.
Yeah, and I got the little like Kraken outfit for him, so he's got like a little eye patch and he's got like the same outfit that I have on. So it's really cute.
I need to get an outfit now. God damn it! I spent more money on this game.
Hey, you started it off. You were the first one to spend.
Yeah, me and my cat are matchy.
True. Okay, let's talk about the news. So we're gonna start with a quick little update. We've talked about Ubisoft to death. They're a bunch of assholes, apparently. We know that. So the director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, he was tied up in a bunch of scandal. He's married. He was using his position to sleep with all kinds of girls and at like cons and stuff like that, and just generally being a slime ball. I guess he went on hiatus, or he got put on leave. He's since been fired, so he's gone. And then I had also read an article the other day. A lot more stories came out of Ubisoft Montreal and Quebec and across the ocean as well, at different spots of management there being bullies and intimidating and like a boys club. Like that kind of culture apparently is prevalent worldwide at Ubisoft Studios, which is just bananas. So there's your Ubisoft update. And does it make you guys feel icky about buying the next Ubisoft game? Because it does for me. Not that I would buy Assassin's Creed, but does that ruin Ubisoft games for you?
I'm actually trying to think of the last Ubisoft game I bought.
So for me, it would be The Division. That would be the last Ubisoft game that I bought.
Rainbow Six Siege?
Yeah.
I think.
But just in general, say this was like Rockstar, or say this was Rare or something. Would it make you feel shitty about buying their games, knowing that that's going on across, the whole globe at their studio?
I find that's kind of like it puts you in a hard position, because there are a lot of people that work at those studios who have not done anything wrong, and that is their livelihood, and there are some decent people here.
Fair
and
point.
I mean, if I were to stop buying from a company that had a shitty CEO or somebody in power, I wouldn't be able to buy anything anywhere. Like it's very hard to find companies or groups of people, large groups of people.
Yay, capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. So where I would like to say, it's the same thing with Amazon. Like I would like to stop giving Jeff Bezos my money. I really, really would, but he is the only one who will ship things to my house during COVID. So you kind of get stuck in this position where just the way things are set up, like you're either like abstaining from everything, or you got to support somebody that you might not want to. But
got it. Makes sense.
Life, right?
Makes sense.
Hey, speaking of Rockstar, first of all, I wouldn't have to buy the next Rockstar game because it's almost certainly going to be GTA 5 again. And Laszlo, I don't know. I didn't hear it in the rundown. I don't know if you had that on the list.
I saw it as news. I just didn't think it was big enough. But yeah, the guy who voices Laszlo, he's been at Rockstar for 20 years, quit. He left.
But he was also like a writer and like...
Yeah, oh yeah,
yeah. He's worked on pretty much every 3D Grand Theft Auto game ever.
Yeah, he's been in every 3D.
And he's been like one of the, the music in Grand Theft Auto is always great, but I always end up spending way more time, at least when I first get it, listening to the talk stations because they are just ridiculous and hilarious. and he was a big part of that. And yeah.
See you later, Laszlo. Rest in peace.
GTA 6 just
No
went
Laszlo.
down a little bit in hype for me permanently.
You know what's gone down in hype for a lot of people? Halo. So
Nice
Halo
segue.
Halo Infinite, after being panned for its really not so good gameplay demo that came out during Xbox's showcase, got delayed to 2021. I did not see that coming. That is a surprise, because while yes, it was clear that Halo needs more work before its release, which is soon, or was supposed to be soon, this is like Xbox's only big named game that they were going to ship their new console with. This is it, man. They don't have Nathan Drake, they don't have Kratos, they don't have Sam Porter Bridges, they don't have Aloy, they don't have fucking Bloodborne, they don't have any of that stuff. They have Halo. That was the big one. They were pushing it. And now it's going to come out months after the next Xbox. Like, it must have been in really bad shape for executives to make that decision, you know? Because that's going to affect their bottom line big time, I think.
You know, it's kind of weird that, like, we live in a post-Sonic movie world. And it's kind of weird that I have to bring that up, but I think that actually set a precedent of you show something off, and if the reaction is super negative, you delay and you fix it. Because I can't think of a time or a big example before the Sonic movie when that happened, but it seems like since that, we've had a few instances. I'm struggling to recall them now of, like, something comes out, people are like, what the fuck was that supposed to be? They're like, don't worry about it, we're gonna fix it, it's delayed now.
Yeah.
No, he's not supposed to have teeth.
Human teeth.
Yeah.
Little nubs.
Sonic movie was actually not so bad. I saw it. I took my daughter to see it.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Jim Carrey was fun. He's good in mostly everything he does. But that's besides the point. Usually my attitude towards this kind of thing is let it cook. Give the devs their time to make the game good. That's fine. It's just, in Sonic's case, it wasn't tied to the release of the next gen, digital movie device.
Yeah, there's no real analog, but yeah.
No, that's why it's concerning news.
Yeah.
Like, what is this going to do to Xbox's sales?
What if
the
Xbox has
Series X?
What if Xbox has like some sneaky big title that's just like holding back on, and they haven't even announced it?
I don't think so.
And then it's going to come out, and they're going to be like,
you show that. Now's when you show that. You know.
It almost seems like they just don't care anymore. Like, they want to sell Game Pass, and like
yep,
that's for sure. For sure they do.
We can get it.
All of the Xbox advertising, like everything that I've come across just online or like in things I've been listening to, it's all Game Pass. Like, and you see PlayStation stuff, and you know there's a console coming out. Like, the PS5 is coming out. Here's everything, all that we're talking about it. Here's the controller. And to Xbox, it just seems secondary. Like, if I Google Xbox, when I was trying to sign up for Sea of Thieves and get my little Xbox Live thing,
so bad.
Everything was Game Pass. Like, I would not have any inclination that there's another console coming out or that there's anything. It was just Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. So I don't know if they're just like, sure, fuck it, we'll move on. We'll get this ready when it's ready. All the focus seems to be on Game Pass.
Yeah, if they have an ace up their sleeve, now's the time to show it.
Do you think there is a chance that this will be the last Xbox?
Yeah.
They're going to pull a Sega.
It depends how well Game Pass does this generation. It just depends how much money it makes them, and if it makes them enough money to not produce consoles.
Yeah.
So you won't know until like another 6 or 7 years from now, when you have like the PlayStation 5 numbers and whatever Nintendo's next console is going to be and all that.
No, I mean, like, we're not making hard predictions here, but yeah.
I've always gotten the feeling from Xbox, like, between PlayStation and Xbox, like, Sony likes making consoles. Like, they thoroughly enjoy the process of, like, putting out the PlayStation and making it. And I've just never got that from Xbox. I've always felt like Xbox is doing it just because they had to, because Sony was. And they're
Yeah.
like, we can't stop putting out consoles until they stop putting out consoles. And I get the feeling with this Game Pass stuff that it's like they're trying to bring in another stream of revenue where they're like, can we please just stop with this console thing? Like, we don't want to do it anymore. We want to do this other thing, but we have to stay competitive because of Sony. And I feel like this is a good breaking point for them. So if this is their last console and they switch everything over, 100% I could see that happening.
Yeah. They clearly decided to change their game plan with Game Pass. They got dominated by Sony last generation. You can't argue with the amount of first-party exclusives Sony has, and how good they are.
Yeah.
Like how they all. I think Sony has like 5 first-party exclusives that reviewed over 90 this console generation. Xbox doesn't have that.
I think Xbox might even have 5 first-party exclusives that were canceled and never showed up.
Yeah, they dropped a lot of games too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think whoever is making decisions at Xbox is obviously looking for another way to go, because direct competition with Sony at their game is not working.
Well,
it feels like the person who's at work who's like already got a new job and just doesn't give a shit about the old job anymore. They're just waiting until their new job starts, and they're like, oh, look, Sony's doing better than you. I don't care, man. I don't care. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. Like,
well, consoles are expensive to make too, and they don't have a huge profit margin. In fact, a lot of them sell at a loss. And then they make it up through like licensing and stuff. From people. It'll be interesting to see what'll happen, because like if they decide, okay, this is the last Xbox in the future, okay, but where are you going to put like Halo and stuff, like for people who want to play in the living room, right? You start making like Microsoft notebooks that like can work.
Yeah. They have to do something, because again, back to our PC discussion, it's such a small group of people that will spend several $1,000s to get a PC to play Halo, of all things. Fuck yeah.
The work must continue.
Even if they just made that, that simple box with no disk drive, to be powerful enough to play Halo or any next gen game, it's still going to cost like at least $500. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
Unless they start pushing for cloud-based streaming stuff like Stadia, which I can see, and maybe in the next 5 or 6 years that technology will be good enough to make it viable, or our internet connections will be good enough over a wide enough area to make it viable. So we'll see.
Yeah, like the big question would be, if they stop making consoles, who makes them for them, or who do they have the thing? Because I don't see next generation all of a sudden you being able to get Microsoft Game Pass for PlayStation 6 or whatever.
No. God, no.
But
I don't
then
think
again,
so.
maybe. I mean, it took a long time, but eventually you did get like Sega on Nintendo.
Yeah, and we do have lots of crossplay going on now, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Next up, the one multi-billion-dollar company is fighting with another multi-billion-dollar company, and they're throwing lawyers at each other. So this week, in something I never thought I'd read in my Twitter feed, so here's what happened. Epic wanted to put Fortnite on the Apple Store. Apple apparently gives developers a raw deal, and they take 30% cut of whatever their sales are. Epic didn't like that. They wanted more money. Apple said no. Epic said, screw you, we're going to put Fortnite on the store anyway and take a bigger cut. Apple took it down after that. Epic was ready, almost like they did it on purpose, so they could sue Apple for that money. So that's what transpired, and since then it's also been taken off the Google Play Store apparently as well. So I'm not sure. Do Google and Apple, are they like a conglomerate?
No, I think they're just closing ranks. I think it's like they both have their stores and they probably both have their deals, and Epic didn't like either of them, and they probably make a lot of money off their store and taking a cut of what's on it. They don't like this, so really it's No, Epic just got hopped up on big dick energy and decided to take on two giants. And
yeah, it's Tim Sweeney for sure. That's what he's doing.
I
see,
kind of can't believe it.
It's crazy. I see two takes on Twitter for the most part for this. One is, if you think that billion-dollar companies care about you, you're fucking stupid, and you shouldn't be backing either of these companies because they don't have your interest at heart at all. And the other one is go Epic, fight the big guy, get more money for developers on the Apple Store.
Where the fuck is Epic getting its money? Like, Fortnite cannot be making them that much money. I know it's making them a shit ton of money, but no, but like just other things, like going back to Troy, they just paid a shitload of money and then gave away 7.5 million copies of it. Even if they're only doing half price, that's fucking $175 fucking $million they just paid someone to give away their game for free. Like, yeah, Matt, and that can't be that. They've given away over 2,000. If you've taken a few months ago every free Epic game, it's like well over $2,000 per user that Epic has paid out to various companies.
So just for Fortnite, which is obviously their main thing, they have over 30 million active users worldwide, right?
Yeah, but how many of those pay?
So let's say half. Let's say a quarter. Let's say fucking 10 million people. I have a calculator in front of me right now. 10 million people buy the Battle Pass, which is $15. That's $150 million. And that's just the Battle Pass. Not all the fucking skins they put in there all over. Like, they are making crazy money off Fortnite, man. Crazy.
I guess, but I'm just trying to, like, if every free game costs them several million and they do 2 every week, and they're paying lawyers to take on 2 huge corporations.
Fortnite is a big business. You know what? Because it's not just all the microtransactions, because there's tons of them, and you can bet your ass they're making lots of money off of that. It's all the merchandising too, man. If you go into Walmart or Target or Toys R Us, you see Fortnite stuff everywhere now.
Fortnite
action
backpacks.
Figures, T-shirts, everywhere. It's like Star Wars. Like, they're making big bank, so they can definitely take on Apple. It's just I'm curious to see how far they're going to take it.
Yeah,
and I'm surprised people care.
I guess
it's just especially if they're doing those events and stuff where they're like playing trailers and stuff. They're making money off of that.
Yeah,
like they're making a lot of money.
No, they're making a lot of money, but I get the feeling that all the stuff they've been doing so far is like the investment phase.
Or they're crazy in debt, and now they have to sue Apple to make some money because they're like they got nothing. They're almost bankrupt. That's the other option.
I feel like it's in between those two.
I
feel like they're operating really slim. Like, they're not making huge bank. They're reinvesting all of their profits to just try and get bigger, with the idea that at one point you can let go, like Netflix did. Though Netflix, we'll see how that works out for them. Netflix may have burned themselves. Because back when they were the only game in town, they had a lot, and now everyone has a streaming service, and as things get split up, they're losing more. So Netflix might have fucked themselves a bit. I knew,
you have to keep in mind as well that Tim Sweeney who's the head of Epic. Like, Fortnite isn't just his thing. Like, he's tied into like VR. He's one of the pioneers of Oculus, I believe, and like all kinds of other big tech conglomerates. So there's a lot more money behind Epic than just Fortnite.
Oh yeah, no, like I'm that's what my original question was, is like, where the fuck are they getting their money from? You know?
Oculus, VR money, whatever else Tim Sweeney has his, whatever other fingers he has and whatever other pies, I'm sure that's where it's coming from as well, because he's at the head of it all, right? And Tim Sweeney, like, say what you want about him, he's a brilliant guy.
Sweeney's dirty finger pies.
He's a very, very smart man.
All right.
Okay, so next up, Control Ultimate Edition makes people angry. So a lot of what Xbox is pushing is smart delivery, right? So you're going to be able to buy your Cyberpunk 2077 in November, and then when Xbox Series X comes out, you can play it for free, upgraded on your next-gen console. And they're pushing that for a lot of their games because they don't have a lot of just straight up next gen games, and it's not a good business practice anyway. You want people to buy as much as possible. What Control is doing, and it's shitty because Control is a good game. I played it. So with my version of Control that I bought on release, I do not get to play it on PS5. But if I buy Control again, I can get the upgraded version for PS5. And so people are mad about that. What do you guys think?
Just, I find it hilarious. The whole idea, like, you don't have to buy our game twice if you buy it twice.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would be upset. I would definitely be upset if I had to buy it again. I mean, like, if I already owned it, I would be okay with paying like a smaller fee to get like the upgraded version, I guess, like $2, like $2 or whatever it is, like the cost of
what about $5?
what I've already paid, $4.99. No tax.
You know what fee I'm gonna pay? The $600 it's gonna cost me to buy the PlayStation 5. That's my fee. I give you $600, Sony. You give me Control with ray tracing and whatever, 60 frames per second. Like, come on, man.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Don't be jerks.
No, it's I mean, it's interesting, but I also feel like there's going to be some weird one-offs at this new console thing, and then going forward, people will learn who made Control. Was that Remedy?
Yes, it's Remedy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of... It's like uncharted water, right? So there's going to be a lot of back and forth with that, I think. As more and more games come out closer to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and which one you have to pay for and which one you don't.
Yeah. No, yep. It's a bold move. It's a bold move.
And it seems universally unpopular, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go back on it.
Yeah, I think the upgrade method is actually pretty smart. It reminds me of... actually, looping this all together, Steam, when Dark Souls Remastered came out,
yeah,
if you had owned the previous PC version of Dark Souls, it was cheaper.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And there was something else. Dark Souls 2, when Scholar of the First Sin edition came out, if you owned Dark Souls 2, you got a discount. And if you owned all the DLC for Dark Souls 2, like, those also added. So if you basically are just, like, rebuying the game for new features and stuff, it just becomes an upgrade cost, essentially. And you still retain your old version.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if the game is $50, if I bought it for $50 and the upgraded Ultimate Edition is $60, let me pay the extra $10.
Yeah. It wasn't quite
Get all
that
the new
good,
stuff.
But yeah.
That's
Like,
fine.
I'm
Yeah,
good
that's
with
fine.
that.
The difference is that, so the Ultimate Edition comes with all the new DLC, right? Which is like 3 DLC packs, I think. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. If I'm a big fan of Control and I liked it but not enough that I'm going to play it again, or I want to see it on PS5, let me buy the DLC and let that be my ticket to the upgraded, visuals. That's fine. I'll pay $15-20 to get 3 huge DLCs. That's totally cool, but that's enough. Don't make me buy the fucking game again, the main game. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I just want to point out? Now that we all have gaming PCs, we can just get the PC version of Control and make it next gen right fucking now.
Well, once we get the NVIDIA 3000 series cards, we can.
Do we even need those?
I think we need those.
You got ray tracing already.
I think that's the whole point of those, though. Yeah, but you know what I don't have? 20 gigabytes of VRAM.
Yeah, but I don't think the new consoles do either.
They have more than my 8 gigabyte card, that's for sure.
Do they?
Yes. They do. Yeah, I looked it up a long time ago, but you can Google the relation between teraflops and gigabytes on GPUs, or like what they're comparable to.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, this just happened this morning, which is really cool. Ghost of Tsushima announced a online co-op mode. It's called like Legendary Mode for their game, and it comes out in the fall, which is amazing because it's so fun running around in that game and fighting guys all by yourself. I can only imagine how awesome it's going to be, absolutely wrecking Mongols with however many friends. Hopefully, it's more than one other person. Because that'd be super fun to play with you guys. Yeah, 4 would be amazing.
I think 4 is what it is because what I saw is they're actually making like a raid, like a 4-player like.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so in for that. Like, the combat is so good, and the world is so like. Speaking of Sea of Thieves and how hours just go by, it's the same thing with this. The world is so nice and fully realized, and just a pleasure to be in. Being able to play multiplayer in that's going to be awesome.
And it would be cool if you could use the different modes. Like if you can have like one person in like the Ronin gear and they'll like sneak in and do some stuff, and like someone else in like a different set of armor. Like
I'm
that
sure
would
that'll be a thing.
That'll be fun.
I'm sure with multiplayer is going to come the ability to. I'm sure they'll add like more armor sets and more bonuses and stuff like that. That's a no-brainer. Right there.
Yeah.
Someone's just
Buffs
decked out in
cool.
European plate mail and just confuses the hell out of everyone.
Well, who knows? Maybe there'll be a DLC by then, and they'll add something like that, like maybe some Chinese armor or what have you. Who knows?
One Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine. Okay, that's it for the news. For our editorial today, I was thinking about Death Stranding earlier, and that got me thinking of Hideo Kojima. And my question for you guys is, what do you want to see next from Kojima? He just made Death Stranding. There's some rumors about a horror game. But yeah, what do you guys want to see?
Both of his ass cheeks at the same time. No. What do I want to see from Kojima? I know what I really want to see, but I'll never see it. Just a fucking proper ending to Metal Gear 5.
Oh yeah, that's never happened.
Yeah. Sour note to go out on. Oh, you know what? Make a mech game, Kojima. I know you like him.
I think it would make an amazing mech game. Just going off how good the mechs are in Metal Gear and how good Sam's mechanized suit is.
Well, Zone of the Enders.
Death Stranding.
Zone of the Enders and Zone of the Enders 2. Back in the PS2 game, he did make mech games.
That's true.
They were more like Gundam than Stompy.
Of course they're Gundam. It's Kojima. He's Japanese.
The Metal Gear mechs were kind of stompy. I like the stomps.
I would take a cool Gundam game.
I really like horror, personally. I think it looks like that's what he's going to do. And, you know, a lot of people feel burned about PT and not getting Silent Hills, so I really want to see what, like, unleashed Kojima can do with a horror franchise.
Yeah.
Because even Death Stranding, which is, like, not really about being scary or horror, in moments can be very creepy. Especially when, you know, we've seen those cinematic trailers so many times now, and we've seen the BTs a lot because it's kind of like ingrained in pop culture now. But seeing that stuff initially was spooky, and I love those vibes, especially that first trailer, you know, when the guy gets picked up by the invisible BT and he starts stabbing himself and they have the void out and everything. Like, really neat, dark sci-fi, whatever it is. More of that, please.
Yeah.
Like, there's little bits of that in Death Stranding, but I want a whole game of that from Kojima.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anything he does is going to be long and we'll have a lot of words. Actually, no, I'm going to say, yeah, horror, but I would actually like to see him, like, maybe, like, fewer characters, less talking. Let him do his, because he does visual storytelling very well.
Yep.
He does exposition a lot.
He likes big meaty stories for sure.
He does like big meaty stories, and he really likes repeating phrases. which works way better in the parts of Death Stranding I've played than it did in Metal Gear 4. God, the kid cooked so many fucking
How
eggs.
far are you into Death Stranding? What chapter?
Not
are you
very
in?
far.
Chapter
3?
2?
3?
Oh, okay.
Maybe?
So chapter 3 maybe is where it really starts to pick up. So
Yeah.
push past that.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I enjoy Death Stranding when I played it. It's one of those games that I stopped playing one day, and then I went to work the next day, and I came home, and I went, Death Stranding? Maybe in a bit. I just want to play something like kind of like fun and like action-y first.
Yeah.
And then that happened a couple of days, and I never actually went back to Death Stranding, and then it wasn't until today that I was like, oh, right, Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. Sam, I want to buy Death Stranding for you so you can play it.
Okay.
Can be your second PC game. That would look gorgeous on your big curved monitor.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we need to do a Metal Gear Twin Snakes playthrough with you
Yeah.
as well.
That one we're going to have to do in person.
Yeah, for sure. That could be a future group stream.
Perfect.
I could definitely beat it. Like if we were willing to go, I'm putting this out there. I could beat it in one sitting, but it would
Just
be
do a full
like,
playthrough.
Full playthrough. I could do it in, I want to say 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's
8
you
hours.
know what? The problem with that is cutscenes. Can't skip them all. Can't skip almost all of them.
I think it would be a shame to play that game and skip any of the exposition or cutscenes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what makes the game. Other than the weird, I don't even know what to call it. The stuff where they break the fourth wall, or like you have to look on the manual for like radio frequencies,
Look
like
on the-
stuff like that. Really unique to Kojima stuff.
Yeah. No, there's,
But that's what makes him great, is he makes games unlike anyone else.
you actually have to look at the back of the game case at one point to progress.
Yeah.
Because
We'll do it in 2 nights. We'll split it over 2 nights.
all right.
over a weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, let's settle up our bet from last week. So we bet on how many downvotes the Halo Infinite gameplay trailer would have. Sam bet 52,394. I bet 35,000, and Matt bet 42,000. The actual number, unfortunately, guys, was 32,000, which makes me the winner again, possibly for our last bets ever. But we'll talk about that at a later date.
Bet not.
So that gives me the responsibility to close the podcast with a final word and a sign off if I choose. So my final word is play Death Stranding. It's good. And my sign off, I don't really have one today. So Wingardium Leviosa.
Bye, folks.